Hello my wonderful people over there on the other side of the screen. Today we are gonna be continuing our English mastery journey and we are gonna be using the Write with Speech software on Google Docs, and we are gonna be continuing this project and our like basic goal over here is to like master the pronunciation of the hard words and start using the language more creatively and kind of like prep ourselves when we really have to like use this language in the real world again. So this is kind of like prep work for many different projects, for my singing, for my like creative writing with like more traditional tools and that kind of stuff. I would be probably doing this like practice more if I had the opportunity, but you know, this requires so much like time and brain power and all kinds of shit like that, and silence like that. I haven't been able to get to this like so much, but I do this every time I have an opportunity. And it's a great tool, you know, the Google Docs, and I'm gonna be free flowing over here. Lately I've been writing with more like traditional tools like fountain pen and like a notebook, but now I'm gonna use this. Let's start tonight by making our audience feel like home. What's a home anyway? Somewhere where you can feel like you belong. Somewhere where you can do what you most desire in life, and somewhere where you can be yourself. Something like that. We're gonna be really free flowing with our text over here. We're gonna be writing. We're gonna be deepening the. I have over here, I named this King's Alchemist. So we are gonna say that my home is where I can be the king. When I'm at home, I act like a king. I dress like a king and I talk like a king. Of course, I have other ways of being also, but this being a king project has been the most fruitful endeavor so far in my life. That sounds like a complete horseshit, you know. I need a little time to like get into this, you know, this tool, you know. Really, it's more about the tool. It's more about the tool. I want to be telling you in this document about plotting and how to create a masterful plot. A masterful plot is not actually written on the page. The masterful plot is written in your head. The page is only a means to an end. The human being hasn't really been able to create a writing tool yet that matches the unlimited possibilities and capabilities of the human mind and the human brain. A lot of writing tools have been made, but a king has to use the best tools available. So, what is he going to come up with? In the future, there is going to be the write with thought future, the write with thought is going to be a reality. And you won't ever need to use your voice or hands to write with. But the king doesn't live in that kind of time. The home I have over here is really olden style and old school. It's possible that the word old school wasn't really used. Even in the time that this house was built. Outside it might be the year 2100, 2100, but inside of here it's not even 1800s, 1900s yet. So I'm a master of time. I'm gonna see. 8 minutes. 8 minutes and we have already this much. You know, I'm gonna say that when I write like this, I have to I have to edit some of this out. And I have to make these corrections. And I don't really like that because I'm gonna explain here the reason why I write like this. Why I even discovered this way of writing. It came about because I have problems in my hands. I get a lot of finger pain. I have pain in my elbows and in my biceps. I can't write with the computer that much. I can write some short stuff, but longer stuff, it just gets so much pain. And really, you have to keep that in mind. And I'm gonna try to use my fingers and hands like as less as possible, because it's possible that the reason why I have been able to write so good with the fountain pen lately has been that I have completely stopped writing on computers. So understand that, and understand that about what I'm doing over here. And I'm gonna probably put this text in the description, just to grab those words out of it, So here we have a king. In the outside world, I also dress up as a king from the 1800s. And it kind of maybe puts people off a bit. But there are people who really like it. But I haven't yet found a matching fiance that likes this kind of like playing roles or these characters. Oh, did you hear that? Or these characters. Did you hear that? You know why when I became this man, the I don't, you know, um, like this tool has been crucial for my, I could say, self-development, but this tool really has helped me so much, and it's like free to use this. But this tool has this like way of like suggesting you words, and I feel that like it has a subconscious like effect on you. You start to like become a different person through like writing with this tool. I could literally spend like my whole life with this tool and still not like run out of my like, you know, because this always keeps like throwing you words, new ones, and it's insanely cool how well this works even at this point. You saw how when I said that word rose, it like threw a suggestion of the rose, you know. Why not give her a rose? Well, giving roses my Google word Smith assistant isn't really my style. Maybe I should get into it. Thanks for the advice. Thanks for the advice, but now to my story. Oh, you mean you can get one from a store? Yeah. Yeah. So it happened that I started to look really for a fiance that would play the queen in this household, and I went into this flower store and asked the person that, hey, I really don't have a specific woman that I'm gonna give this flower to, but I want to get something for a special lady I'm going to be talking to. So what type of flower should I actually be getting? You see, I would have not invented that with traditional tools, and that's at the same time bad and good. Get it? I have some pain over here in my index finger when I use the mouse. When I click on this thing, I get pain over here. But that's not so bad because it's in the right hand. But I want to, like, the left hand has to stay really like pain free. So it's probably good that I only use one type of tool, and then yeah. I want to get something for a special lady I'm going to be talking to you. So what type of a flower should I actually be getting? The employee of the store throws a suggestion of giving flower store gives a suggestion. That's a fucking hard. That's a hard word. You know, suggestion. That's one of the words. That's like I can pronounce most of the words in English, but that's a hard word. You know, suggestion. I want to suggest. Suggestion. I just can't do it. The employee of a flower store gives me a light blue flower with some blue, some orange in the middle. This one is great, she says. Give this one to a very special lady and she will be all over you, guaranteed, and it's also a pretty great price, she says. I end up buying the flower. You know, I've been thinking about I saw this one shirt actually. You know, there are many type of like these designs in like designer shirts, and I saw this one that had this like there was like kind of like lobsters and like kind of like octopus and all kinds of sea creatures, and it looked like kind of like I was kind of like iffy on it, but it looked at the same time so stylish. So stylish, you know. It was kind of iffy, but pretty stylish. Then I saw one that had like flowers on it. So stylish, but I didn't get to buy that one because it was kind of like I had to decide between few things, you know. And then I like I've been getting a lot of these Ralph Polo shirts that have lines and they have like these blocks, you know. This I mean rectangles, you know. And they're great, you know. They're great shirts. They're really awesome for the quality. But I've been thinking about that. If I had to design a shirt, like what would I really go for in the like, you know, the like color and all kinds of shit like that. And this shirt had that exact color, you know, that I'm talking about. It was light blue with some orange accents, you know, with some blacks and some whites. Really great color scheme. It was art, almost art, but it had kind of like I didn't like what kind of associations I like got from that one. And that's the problem when you go with something like that's the problem when you go with something that has like pictures in it. You start to like remember stuff. Now I just have to find the queen I'm gonna give this flower to. So I'm in a hurry. I just I just I can't just hold on to it and wait for greatness to happen. So what do I do? Like, these kind of things are really like weird, you know. Weird. Like, what? A sweet. Say something sweet. Maybe that's better. Maybe you should say something sweet. Somewhere where you can do. Let's take it into another direction. But really, this kind of flowery stuff is not my style at all. It belongs to the gigolos and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, I might have been trying to become a character like that also in my life, but it hasn't been really working out that good, and I'm getting the results that I'm really wanting. This is the this is the way I'm gonna be. This what I'm writing over here might be more of your venting at a psychologist, and the psychologist. Okay, wedding, you know, so those cost money, you know. I don't have that kind of money. It's kind of like with women, you know. You kind of like get into this like mindset that, yeah, fine, you know, you have a fine meal with somebody, you know, that costs money, you know, wedding, you know, that costs money. You know, women are actually like endlessly, you know, like holes for money. You really shouldn't be like putting money into women a lot. I don't I don't feel that it's not, you know, like, you know, the you know, all kinds of things, you know, you have to like do. Put money into yourself, and then you can just like put money into yourself and swap your women. That's like swap your women a lot, you know. Swap your women like your clothes, you know. That's what I go for. That's the go-getter attitude. Swap your women like your clothes. Every day. That's a great tweet. You know, actually, Twitter now is you like there's this like thing called Twitter Blue, and I'm not really feeling that Twitter Blue thing like adds a lot of value actually. Like I don't really know. It might be that you get like better like traction in the platform, but I've been noticing my views like kind of becoming a bit weird, you know, on YouTube when I stopped using Twitter actually. And I'm thinking that if you want views on YouTube, should you actually be marketing your like channel in any other social media at all? Like, is it possible to become a known YouTuber only through the YouTube platform, or should you be doing internet type of marketing in other ways? You know, I did some email marketing. I have done the Twitter thing. Now I'm doing like real life marketing of my YouTube channel, trying to make fans, but it's kind of like, well, it's really challenging, and it's more interesting for me. I don't want this only to be a thing that, yeah, people come to me and then just, you know, like that. You know, I want it to be interactive, but not interactive not interactive on internet. You know, this is so much work that I really don't feel that internet is really a good place to interact in any way. Internet should, I feel my vision for the use of internet is more one way, that you create stuff on the internet and then you like talk about what you created, and you like, you know, share like in the real life, you know, this kind of thing. I really like try to give this vision to people. So that's the way I use the internet. I don't know. Might be a psychologist went into a psychologist. I feel, and the psychologist hears and doesn't throw any suggestions how to better this situation. Doesn't give advice. Isn't that interesting? He just hears you. What is the psychologist in this situation trying to do? It's he's trying to increase your self-esteem and your self-belief. To like to work on the inner child and make it integrate better into the whole of the psyche. That's what I feel. That okay. So as a whole, this page doesn't make any sense. So there's the king, and the king has a problem. Can't find a fiance. Well, that's a great story. So what does the king freaking do? He starts to market himself um, as the king and as the actor of the king in his own life. And he makes it into this kind of like reality show. He gets cameras in his home and starts to like include these women that he talks to in real life and tries to make them queens, you know, into this thing. And really, he has really hard time to just settle on one of these women, because he maybe can't love any one of them very deeply. But the really interesting thing about the king is that even though he has this indecisiveness in this part of his life, he's really focused on almost every other part of his life of playing the king. Now he invents a completely another. When he hosts these events in his home, he never invites any other males into it. So it's a kingdom of one man and like maybe 50 women. So you can imagine what ensues out of this. So you can imagine what kind of shoes. So you can well, it's complete catastrophe. But yeah, maybe it can be a little bit interesting. Well, no, that doesn't sound good. How many girls can you fool around before they start to feel that you're not that sound in your head? How many women can you fool around with before they start to feel that man, that guy hasn't really found out the secret? You know, I just feel I have this, you know, this is just the psychologist. Where is the psychologist? Where's my psychologist? We're gonna went to the psychologist again. Um, so then I continued talking to the psychologist, and I said that psychological system. That's great. And I say that I have this way of like interacting with people that can't get me any gets me very few lasting relationships. I just feel I want to be meeting new people all the time. Because maybe in my persona there are aspects that only come evident after a little bit of time. And I want to like mask this so it doesn't show. That kind of thing. You know, like having this like goal of like talking to hundreds of people. Like I have really I've tried to like make this every time I talk to somebody. I like put this like mental note in my head. But when I talk to say the same people like again and again, I start to notice that my mind kind of changes, you know. So in terms of like yeah yeah like really it's really it's really interesting. uh it might be that, you know, to deal with a guy like me, you have to be a pretty open-minded person. The psychological system says that it's really normal that most of human interaction doesn't lead anywhere. It doesn't have to lead anywhere. But then you feel and meet some people that vibe with you more. It's still not wasted time. It's still not wasted time because you learn through all of this. There are professions where they okay, I was talking about professions and now you talk about prophecies. The prophecies will unfold. There are prophecies. Well, tell me about the prophecies. This is getting interesting. So, okay, so if we recap over here, well, how much time? 24 minutes. If we recap over here, I have a king. The king lives in a modern world, can't find a fiance, so he lives in an olden style home. That's actually what I want to do at some point, you know. If I'm pretty actually I might be kind of contradictory, you know, in a sense that I really like olden style clothes, you know. I really don't like modern clothes, you know, the caps and the fabrics and, you know, I really like olden style clothes. But I live like I want to live in a home that is so modern. And I don't mean by what's in the home, but I mean by the design of the home. I actually I'm gonna say this to you, like empty space is what I love. Like empty space is what I love. Like I hate most of the storage solutions. I hate most of tables. I hate most of chairs. You know. At this moment, you know, I'm just like I have one couch, you know, and I'm spending so much time in a room where there's only one couch and on the walls my paintings. I love paintings. Yeah. Like like I'm so glad I painted all those paintings, you know. Like they have made my life so much better. But at the time I was doing them, man, it was such fucking, you know, it's the most like awful thing. Well, there was a lot of fun in it also, but there was also some real fucking struggle. So it's really normal that most women, like, yeah. And I feel this kind of weird thing that if I'm not getting new and new stuff and new people to interact with, my life is not going anywhere. The psychological system processes a minute for what I said and then answers. It's it's being human to want change. Life can't just stay the same all the time. And you're learning to love that. But what if this change cuts out the story so that it doesn't, so that the life doesn't make sense as a whole anymore? Okay, well, I'm getting this. That's the problem with me as a writer. But that's also probably like I wouldn't be even doing this if I didn't think like this. But that's my problem as a writer. I start like thinking about this, like how I'm gonna say this, and I get into this like huge like rabbit holes of like thinking that um like like this philosophizing about something, and then I come with some like great insight, like the fact that you should like swap your women like you swap your clothes every day. Swap your women like you swap your clothes. Do it every day. Actually, 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 that's not the way you should like go at all. The fact is that okay, then the psychological system tells the truth to the man. Do you want to really know why you can't find a fiance for your kingdom project? The system asks. Tell me about it. It's because you don't like anybody that much. And if you do, they don't like you that much. So I can't like stuff enough. And also, you like your kingdom project more than you like any human being. That kind of thing. Um, your crown is more important than yeah. Yeah. The psychological system says that, so it's about my priorities of like thought. So it's about the fact that I'm preoccupied with stuff that like blocks me from yes. The psychological system says. It's great, you know. It's great. So we have kind of like this like you know this like truth level of it, and we have this kind of like let's make it a funny thing, you know. Let's joke about it, you know. This is kind of how life it is. No women really likes me that much. I get a lot of negative, you know, kind of like negative, you know. You know, I get this like two different kind of like reactions, you know, from people. Many more actually, but yeah. Interpreting, interpreting. And I feel, you know. And the psychology, yeah. Well, that, like, I was trying to write something. Now you said that this is problem in my life. You know, this computer. You know, this is what I mean. That is like problematic with this kind of like software, because it starts like success to these things that, and you start to feel like this, like yeah, this is a lot lacking in life. But what's lacking in this story actually is that like this, I want to make this like kind of fun. Yeah. So the fact is, but the fact is that this flower thing didn't really work because I gave the flower to one of the women, and then nothing came out of it. So I stopped buying flowers, and I started buying better clothes. And at some point I had a whole room reserved for these clothes. You know, this is whole research. Oh, it was kind of like a... And through this, I became so... Then something happened. I realized that I had to place my kingdom in a black hole. A place where people could enter, but where people couldn't exit. And I of course wanted these women to be the ones that would enter this black hole. This is starting to sound pretty weird, but thanks Google Docs for the idea. So maybe it was kind of like a prison. black hole and a prison really like holy shit. Think about this for a minute. If you go into a black hole, nobody knows what's there, and you can't get out of it. Oh, you can? If you go into a prison, nobody, you can't get out of it. So are black holes kind of like space prisons? You know, this is pretty advanced. Well, the space prison thing has been done before many times, but black holes, yeah. This world. If you end up in a prison, you can't get out of it. If you end up in a prison, you can't be getting out. If you end up in a black hole, you have to sing really loud. That rhymes. If you go in a black hole, nobody knows what's there and you can't get out of it. Okay, so when people fail in their relations, they try to make their relations more like a prison or like a black hole. But that's no good. You never want to limit people's freedom. Like, that's my vision for life. You never want to limit people's freedom. Yeah. The king thinks about making his kingdom like a black hole, but at the end he lets go of that idea. He lets go of it because he realizes that it won't work. At least with people he wants to interact with. Then the psychological system gives the man an idea that he tries to limit that in the man's relations that he has become so open-minded that people no longer feel he's interested in him. Something like that, you know. You know, there's this kind of rift. How do you communicate something? That's a great line. There's this kind of rift. How do you communicate something? Like, that's great. Like, that's just awesome, you know. This kind of rift. How do you communicate something? Like when there's something but it can't be expressed. Will better means of expression be found? Or will the same expression be learned to use? Be used in a better way? Will people get the message? It's a really weird thing being a, you know, it's a really weird thing being a human being. Yeah. I feel that if I could only be using the English language, you know, I feel that I would be socially very different, you know. I've been trying to use my own native language in a more English type of way, you know, like becoming more free flowing, but you know, it's just, yeah, I don't know. So we are kind of like pondering about it. So, but there's no story in that. That's just like, you know, it's like, yeah, there's no story in it. Okay, so it tries to build this black hole. So the king ends up trapping himself in this black hole he can't get out of because nobody wants anything to do with him. And then he becomes a little mad inside this black hole. His only choice is hope is that somebody will join him in this black hole. Because he can no longer get out. And that's how freedom of expression gets trunked. Or like, yeah, something like that. It's pretty great. It's pretty great, you know. Yeah, that's fine. That's pretty fine. I'm gonna draw a line over here and say that I'm not gonna touch even that like story anymore in the next hour. You know, that's just shit, you know. Maybe it clarifies some of the points I've been trying to write in the King's Alchemist book, but it's just shit, you know. Maybe you can't write fantasy with like modern technology. Thanks for watching.